Welcome back to another Foxy Games UK video. Today we have a couple of interesting news stories concerning news regarding the PlayStation Showcase that I briefly touched upon in Friday's video. And we have news concerning Xbox boss Phil Spencer's reassuring words, I'm sure. His message to the Xbox community regarding the Activision Blizzard deal, even though nobody really expected otherwise, but we'll get into that a little later. Now, it may be Monday, but just remember what the great Ricky Gervais said. There's nothing wrong with Mondays, it's your life that's a bit shit. Words to live by. Now, as a bit of a refresher, in case you missed Friday's video, I'll briefly go over what actually occurred in terms of the rumour, and then I'll add my 2 cents to it in a bit more detail. Now, in our first news story, reported via JewelShockers.com, now it appears that PlayStation is reportedly planning a massive showcase later this year, which will supposedly set up the next phase of the PlayStation 5. Now, the rumour comes from industry insider and journalist Jeff Grubb, who expects the event to take place before E3 in June. Now, during a recent episode of Jeff Grubb's Game Mess, Grubb discussed the recent State of Play event which took place on Thursday, saying that they're saving the good stuff for the PlayStation Showcase. That's going to happen before E3. Now, he seems pretty confident in that statement. Now, the journalist went on to explain it was supposed to happen last fall, but they kept pushing it back because their developers just weren't ready. I'm assuming software. Now, Grubb then revealed that Sony developers are now ready to showcase what they have in store for PlayStation fans. Now that those developers are ready, they should have a massive show that really sets up the second phase of the PlayStation 5. Now, although Grubb didn't specify which developers, Sony has various first-party studios working on huge AAA titles. Now, Insomniac Games has already revealed that it's hard at work on Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine, both of which were revealed during a PlayStation showcase back in September of 2021. Now, Marvel's Wolverine is still likely some time away from release, but Marvel's Spider-Man 2, however, is currently targeting a release window for fall of this year, now making it a strong contender to appear at the rumoured massive showcase with some gameplay demos. Now, if we hot-foot it over to digitaltrends.com, who has a nice article. I would say it's pretty realistic, and it kind of represents both the state of PS5 and Xbox Series X as current gen consoles, whereas neither platform is really using the custom architecture that's built in. I don't know why developers, maybe it's the transitional phase from, these cross-gen, but I don't know why they're not using it yet. But we should expect to see the second phase of games for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. We should see some major inroads in that regard. But the PlayStation 5 has been out for some time now, and its reception has been very positive. It also includes lots of quality of life improvements over the older console PlayStation 4. Everybody knows about the fast load times by now, the SSD, DualSense. However, the console is only as good as the games that are available on it, and thankfully the PS5 has you covered on that front as well. While the machine already has a worthy library of great PS5 games, there are even more to look forward to, with some releasing as soon as this month, while others are still years away. Now, in the video game world, it's not uncommon to be aware of games that are still several years out from release. It's also normal for a new game to be revealed and launched within a couple of months. In this comprehensive list that's been provided by Digital Trends, they're going through the major PS5 releases scheduled for 2023, and there's some speculation on the future games. So some of these games you can expect, really, if there is going to be this massive PlayStation showcase, some of the games that they're reeling off here in the list should be shown there. But yeah, Street Fighter 6 is heavily aligned with PlayStation. That's releasing June 2nd. That could be a game that's featured. You've also got Final Fantasy 16, the highly anticipated next Final Fantasy game. That's June 23rd. There's a possibility there. Baldur's Gate 3 seems to be far more advanced on the PlayStation 5 in terms of consoles, given the developer's recent tweet as they're having issues with one of the Xbox consoles architecture in terms of that game. We've already mentioned Marvel Spider-Man 2, which is due out in the fall of this year. Hopefully there are no delays, but they seem pretty confident regarding that. Alan Wake 2, which is due out this year. We're not sure who that's aligned with in terms of marketing and promotion, but my bet would be it could be PlayStation this time, seeing that it's just hugely ahead in terms of Microsoft and Xbox Series consoles in terms of sales. You've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth 2023. That's due a showing. We haven't seen much outside of a trailer. Tekken 8. That's always been a title synonymous with PlayStation platforms. Tekken. So possible. Skull and Bones, we'll skip that one. Like a Dragon 8. Japanese game coming out on PlayStation platforms and Xbox. Likely going to be promoted as a PlayStation title. There are quite a few games here. A lot of games. Not many of them are actually PlayStation first party, but Marvel's Wolverine, I don't expect that this year. I don't think anybody does. Dragon's Dogma 2, will that be aligned to a PlayStation or Xbox? It's another game that could be shown. There's a ton of games, to be honest. Mass Effect, 007. Sony has an absolute plethora of third-party games it can align itself that can complement their own first party. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. There's a ton of games. However, with Jedi Survivor, I think that's coming out before Sony will probably drop their event, but that's if the rumors are correct. I'm saying this so you can take it with a grain of salt. I say that about the stuff I even say. So it stands to reason that we shouldn't get our hopes up. But in terms of massive PlayStation showcase, it would pretty much have to be, because we haven't had a PlayStation showcase of any significance since 2021. That's some time ago, and Sony has been a bit lax in terms of its stage presentations. It skipped E3 so many times. It's skipping E3 this year. Nintendo's skipping E3. Microsoft's probably going to hold its own conference in its theater, which isn't in E3, but it's around the time. So I'm not even sure if E3 is going to be anything remarkable. They got Ubisoft, I suppose. Let's Dance, everybody. Just Dance, whatever it is. So there you have it. Let's sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think about the potential of a massive PlayStation showcase revealing the second phase, allegedly second phase, of PlayStation 5. Okay, heading over to our second news story of the video. This time, VideoGamesChronicle.com VGC, Phil Spencer says Xbox will exist, even if Activision Blizzard deal is blocked. Interesting. So Microsoft's head of gaming has said its proposed $69 billion deal for Activision Blizzard, acquiring it, the Activision Blizzard acquisition, is not a linchpin for the future of Xbox, and that the gaming arm will continue to exist even if the deal is blocked by regulators. So I'm not sure if this is a Phil Spencer admitting defeat, or him not truly believing anymore they can get the deal over the line, or if it's just a statement to reassure Xbox gamers. I would go with the latter, but Phil Spencer was in the UK this week, along with Sarah Bond, who I tweeted and she liked the tweet. I said, welcome to our city, I hope we make you feel welcome. But Phil Spencer was in the UK this week for talks with the Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, following a European Commission hearing in which it defended the proposed deal amid concerns it could harm competition, particularly if it were to make games like Call of Duty exclusive to its platform. Now, the CMA is in the middle of an in-depth investigation into the acquisition, while it also faces the challenges from the European Commission and the US FTC. Although the deal would be by far Microsoft's biggest ever acquisition, the corporation makes far more from non-gaming products such as Windows, Office, and its cloud services. The Times asked Spencer what would happen to Xbox should such an important acquisition be blocked by regulators, to which he responded that the gaming business was not dependent on its completion. Here's a quote: "This is an important acquisition for us. It's not some linchpin to the long term. Xbox will exist if this deal doesn't go through." Now, much of the regulators' concerns around the Activision Blizzard deal have focused on how it could allegedly reduce PlayStation's ability to compete, given that it would see Microsoft gain ownership of the Call of Duty series, which Sony has called irreplaceable. Spencer said that he was baffled by regulators and were seemingly protecting the console firm, being Sony, which it claimed in a press conference last week that Sony controls a 70% market share in the console business. Microsoft recently said it had offered Sony a 10-year legally enforceable contract to make each new Call of Duty game available on PlayStation the very same day it arrives on Xbox. Here's another quote. Competition is us trying to get stronger. I don't have great rationale for how better competition in consoles is somehow hurtful for consumers, because to me, having us, Sony and Nintendo, doing well in the console market, all of us with strengths and uniqueness and content and capabilities, gives consumers more choice. I'd hate to see consoles go to where phones are, where there are only 2 manufacturers, and right now we have 3 good competitors. In addition to the regulatory concerns around competition in the console market, potential influence on the cloud gaming market is also being explored. Given the complexity of the investigations, Spencer said he feels sympathy for regulators. Another quote. Most of the time in my career at Xbox, I've met with the government regulators. There's been a lack of knowledge about the games industry. I've appreciated spending time with them and in certain cases helping to educate. I think for a lot of the regulators, this is the first time they've looked at this industry. And there you have it. Either way, Xbox is going to continue, with or without Activision Blizzard. I think we all knew. Though what say you? Let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments, as that brings us to the end of the video. Quick reminder, Foxy Games UK February 2023 giveaway still in full swing. 2 God of War Ragnarok digital copies for PS5 up for grabs. Just like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Comment regularly on videos, of course. That's where I'll be picking you from. And the draw is totally random, so anyone can get it. Good luck out there. And you can help Foxy Games UK reach more gamers, so feel free to share the video. You may also wish to consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon, because, well, we're like family now. Link in the description. But that concludes our time together today. Until next time, play games, not corporations.